Archie Miller is out as Indiana's head coach. Athletic director Scott Dolson fired Miller, saying the program did not make enough progress in Miller's 4 years as head coach. Miller's career record in Bloomington, 67-56. The Hoosiers never, though, had a winning record in Big Ten play under Archie, and their highest finish in the conference was 6th. Dolson says donors stepped up to pay Miller's buyout and the transition costs toward finding a new coach as well. That's a process that's already started.
We've got an incredible tradition, incredible. Love our tradition. I'm proud of our tradition. We embrace it. We celebrate it. But at the same time, we need to take that tradition and make certain we know what does a modern day tradition look like? How do we build on that?
WDRB's Rick Bozich joins me now, and this might not have happened if not for the euphemistic term of the year, the private philanthropic funding to cover the $10 million owed to him to get him out of that contract.
You're exactly right, Scott. And Scott Dolson made the point of it was one donor is going to handle the buyout, which is $10.3 million, and another one is going to handle the transition costs, which means maybe buying out the next coach to get him to come to Bloomington.
And who could that next coach be? We hear about Baylor, Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think there's 3 current coaches: Scott Drew of Baylor, Chris Beard of Texas Tech, maybe Eric Musselman of Arkansas. There's 2 coaches who are out of the game: John Beilein, who used to be at Michigan, Thad Matta, who had success at Ohio State, and then the name that everybody always talks about, obligatory, is Brad Stevens of the Boston Celtics.
Would he come back from the NBA missing the college game?
Most people don't think that he would, but I think if he would come back for any job, Indiana would be on the list. He grew up going to IU games as a child.
Let's turn now to U of L. Not only did the Cards fail to make the NCAA tournament, to add gas to the fire, Mitch Barnhart, UK's athletic director, is the chair of the selection committee. A couple teams win conference tournaments that weren't expected to, and Louisville is on the sidelines.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair at all to criticize Mitch Barnhart. It's a 10-person committee. I think it is fair to criticize the selection committee that Louisville didn't get in. When you look at the credentials of maybe Drake and Wichita State, I don't think they're as strong as Louisville's were. The problem that Louisville had is they had those 2 big losses to Wisconsin and to North Carolina, and then they lost the last 2 games by double figures and only had 1 quad win. So, I mean, you can make the argument against them, but you can also surely make an argument for them.
Yeah, those 2 COVID spans there where they couldn't play for so long really hurt them, and then those big losses followed. But when you look at U of L, Rick, I mean, they have a program that you would think would get in, but then these conference tournaments come into play, and you get these teams that had bad seasons.
Right.
They weren't on the radar. I hate these conference tournaments because then they go on to win it. Maybe some of the big teams don't play as hard or don't give it that 110%. They're trying to stay healthy for the NCAA dance, and then these teams get in, and that precludes teams like Louisville or Belmont from getting in.
Yeah, you're exactly right. When Louisville got knocked out theoretically late on Saturday night, where most of us were asleep, when Oregon State won the Pac-12 tournament, which nobody cares about around here, but that goes back a long way. It's the way it's always been. The ACC really is the conference that's been in the forefront of conference tournaments. And there were a lot of coaches when these things expanded that didn't like that for that reason. But the problem is because of the TV money and in most years the ticket revenue, conferences are not willing to give up their conference tournaments.
Louisville does have one a slim chance, a glimmer of hope if a COVID team has to step out of the tournament by
tomorrow,
what, 6 o'clock?
Tomorrow? Yeah. It's an outside chance. I mean, we've seen enough. We saw 3 teams, major teams, last week: Duke, Virginia, and Kansas drop out of conference tournaments. So it could happen. But all you have to have is 5 guys. They made that point last week. You don't have to have the whole team. If you've got 5 guys, you'll play. And for some of these little schools that rarely get in the NCAA tournament, they're not going to give that up. They're going to probably get some walk-ons and say, let's go to Indy. In fact, a lot of them are already there. There was a picture last night of Rick Pitino and Iona practicing in the Pacers practice gym.
There you are, Rick Pitino, Iona, in the tournament. What a year this has been.
It's been fun.
All right, Rick Bozich, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Scott.